The formidable Arleigh Burke-class destroyer is a central element of modern U.S. naval strategy. These vessels are not merely ships, they are complex weapons platforms, designed for multifaceted combat. Their design reflects decades of naval innovation and hard-won combat experience. They are meticulously engineered to dominate in multiple maritime warfare domains simultaneously, from anti-air to anti-submarine operations. The very name Arleigh Burke evokes a profound legacy of naval prowess and decisive leadership in American maritime history. Their continued production and systematic upgrades underscore their enduring importance to American sea power projection. These destroyers serve as a visible and potent symbol of U.S. commitment to global maritime security. Their presence in any theater of operations significantly alters the strategic calculus for all regional and global actors involved. At the heart of the Arleigh Burke's formidable power lies the sophisticated Aegis Combat System. This integrated system is a true marvel of modern military engineering, networking advanced radar, powerful sonar, and versatile weapon systems into a cohesive whole. It allows the destroyer to detect, track, and engage a multitude of diverse threats concurrently. These threats can range from high-speed, sea-skimming anti-ship missiles and enemy combat aircraft to stealthy submarines and heavily armed surface combatants. The destroyers are armed with a diverse and exceptionally lethal arsenal. This includes Tomahawk cruise missiles for precision long-range land attack missions, capable of striking targets far inland. They also carry various standard missiles, SM-2, SM-3, SM-6, for layered air and missile defense, providing crucial area protection for carrier strike groups in allied territories. Their anti-submarine warfare capabilities, featuring sophisticated towed sonar arrays and anti-submarine rockets and torpedoes, are equally robust and critical. The vertical launch systems, or VLS, are a defining hallmark of the Arleigh Burke-class, providing unparalleled mission flexibility and firepower. These numerous cells can be armed with a carefully tailored mix of different missiles, allowing commanders to adapt the ship's offensive and defensive posture to specific threats and evolving operational requirements. This inherent adaptability is absolutely crucial in the dynamic and often unpredictable environment of modern naval conflict. Beyond its impressive missile capabilities, its 5-inch naval gun offers effective firepower against surface targets and for naval gunfire support during amphibious operations. The ship's comprehensive electronic warfare suite provides critical capabilities for detecting, identifying, deceiving, and neutralizing enemy sensors and incoming guided weapons. This deeply layered defense, combined with its significant offensive punch, makes it an exceptionally resilient and dangerous warship on the high seas. Arleigh Burke-class destroyers are quintessential instruments of power projection and forward naval presence for the United States Navy. Their deployment to contested waters or regions of acute strategic importance sends an unmistakable message across the globe. It clearly signals U.S. resolve, effectively reassures allies of American commitments, and serves as a potent deterrent to potential adversaries contemplating hostile actions. With their impressive speed and considerable endurance, these destroyers can rapidly deploy to global hotspots, responding to emerging crises or reinforcing stated U.S. interests with tangible force. The class has undergone numerous flight upgrades throughout its extensive service life, consistently incorporating new technologies and enhanced capabilities. This continuous modernization ensures that these workhorses of the fleet remain at the absolute forefront of naval warfare technology, always ready to meet the evolving challenges of the 21st century. Recent naval activities starkly underscore the enduring strategic importance of the Arabian Sea. In April 2025, the formidable USS Carl Vinson aircraft carrier strike group patrolled these critical waters. This powerful flotilla included 2 highly capable Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyers, the USS Sterett and the USS William P. Lawrence. Their deployment was notably timed, occurring just ahead of crucial Iran-US nuclear talks, adding a layer of military pressure to the diplomatic efforts. The Arabian Sea is a vital conduit for global commerce and essential energy supplies, linking the Indian Ocean to the Persian Gulf. Its immediate proximity to Iran, Yemen, and other volatile areas makes it a frequent stage for naval posturing, surveillance operations, and displays of maritime power. The consistent presence of these advanced destroyers signals a clear U.S. intent to maintain influence and ensure security in this critical maritime domain. The Eastern Mediterranean has also witnessed significant Arleigh Burke activity, demonstrating their defensive prowess. In a notable engagement during October 2024, the Arleigh Burke-class destroyers USS Bulkley and USS Cole demonstrated their advanced anti-missile capabilities under pressure. These destroyers successfully intercepted a substantial barrage of Iranian ballistic missiles that were launched towards Israel, a key U.S. ally. They reportedly fired approximately a dozen interceptor missiles against a much larger incoming salvo of nearly 200 hostile projectiles. This engagement was a critical real-world test of their sophisticated missile defense systems under intense combat conditions. The undeniable success of these interceptions highlighted the proven effectiveness of the Aegis Combat System and the Standard Missile family. It also powerfully underscored the vital role these destroyers play in regional defense architectures, actively protecting allies and U.S. assets from missile threats. The defensive screen, provided by the formidable Arleigh Burke destroyers, was not limited to just 2 vessels during that tense period. Other ships of this versatile class were also heavily involved in maintaining regional security. The lead ship of the class, USS Arleigh Burke itself, alongside USS Michael Murphy, USS Frank E. Peterson Jr., USS Spruance, and USS Stockdale, were deployed across the vast expanses of the Eastern Mediterranean and the Red Sea. Some of these destroyers operated as integral parts of Operation Prosperity Guardian, an international mission focused on ensuring maritime security and freedom of navigation. Others were attached to Marine Expeditionary Units, providing support for amphibious readiness groups. This widespread deployment pattern clearly illustrates the sheer capacity and consistent high demand for these multi-mission platforms across different theaters. They form a crucial component of U.S. efforts to ensure stability in these strategically sensitive waterways. Beyond direct combat engagements and missile defense operations, other interactions further highlight the close proximity of U.S. naval forces to Iran. In August 2024, the Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer USS Daniel Inouye, operating as part of the Theodore Roosevelt Carrier Strike Group, conducted a notable rescue operation. It successfully aided 2 distressed Iranian civilian mariners, whose vessel was in peril in international waters. This humanitarian act occurred within the U.S. Central Command's designated area of operations, placing the destroyer relatively close to Iranian shores. While such missions showcase a commendable commitment to maritime safety for all seafarers, they also serve as a constant reminder of the persistent U.S. naval presence in the region. These destroyers operate daily in waters frequently traversed by Iranian military and civilian vessels, creating a complex environment where even benign encounters occur under the ever-present shadow of deep geopolitical tension. The timing of significant naval deployments is rarely coincidental, especially when they concern highly sensitive diplomatic efforts. The USS Carl Vinson Strike Group's conspicuous presence in the Arabian Sea, with its powerful Arleigh Burke escorts, directly preceded the scheduled second round of Iran-US nuclear talks in April 2025. Such carefully orchestrated military maneuvers serve multiple purposes in the intricate, high-stakes dance of international relations. They can be clearly interpreted as a deliberate show of strength designed to bolster the negotiating position of one party or to apply pressure on the other. They also function as a tangible reassurance to regional allies who may feel particularly vulnerable during periods of direct diplomatic engagement between the U.S. and a major regional rival like Iran. The advanced capabilities of the Arleigh Burke destroyers make them potent and visible symbols in this complex form of armed diplomacy. The diplomatic track itself has seen some tentative movement, offering glimmers of hope amidst the tension. Recent discussions held in Oman, skillfully facilitated by Omani officials known for their neutrality, were described by U.S. Mideast envoy Steve Witkoff in cautiously optimistic terms as positive, constructive, compelling. There have been subtle, yet noteworthy indications that the current Trump administration might be willing to reconsider some of the terms from the original 2015 nuclear deal, formerly known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or JCPOA. However, this nascent diplomatic optimism is significantly tempered by deep-seated historical mistrust and extremely complex political realities prevailing on both sides of the negotiating table. The concurrent presence of advanced naval hardware like the Arleigh Burke destroyers in the region serves as a stark, unavoidable reminder of the potentially severe alternative to a successful diplomatic outcome, underscoring the immense stakes. Adding another layer of pressure to the already tense atmosphere is the explicit and often forcefully articulated stance of President Trump. He has publicly and repeatedly threatened to authorize airstrikes against Iran's nuclear facilities if a satisfactory agreement is not reached through the ongoing negotiations. The perceived credibility of such serious threats is significantly enhanced by the visible presence of capable and ready military assets in the vicinity. Arleigh Burke-class destroyers armed with long-range Tomahawk land attack cruise missiles possess the undeniable ability to strike targets deep within Iranian territory with a high degree of precision. This military option, however fraught with risk and potentially escalatory consequences, looms large over the entire diplomatic process. The destroyers are thus not just tools of maritime defense, but also crucial instruments that lend tangible weight and credibility to presidential declarations and policy red lines. The deployment of Arleigh Burke destroyers near Iranian waters constitutes a multifaceted geopolitical signal, carefully crafted and observed. It is directed not only at the leadership in Tehran but also at other influential regional and global powers. To Iran, it signals unwavering U.S. resolve to protect its vital interests in the Middle East and to prevent nuclear proliferation, by force if deemed necessary. To long-standing allies such as Israel and the Gulf Arab states, it offers crucial reassurance of American commitment to their security in a turbulent neighborhood. To strategic competitors like China and Russia, who also harbor significant interests in the Middle East, it demonstrates continued U.S. engagement and enduring military superiority in the critical maritime domain. These warships are therefore key pieces on a complex global geopolitical chessboard, their movements meticulously planned and intensely scrutinized by intelligence agencies worldwide. The increased concentration of advanced naval power, particularly the formidable Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, in waters proximate to Iran inevitably and significantly heightens regional tensions. While these deployments are often officially framed as defensive in nature or as a deterrent against aggression, they can inadvertently increase the risk of miscalculation or accidental escalation in a volatile environment. The Persian Gulf and its surrounding seas, including the Gulf of Oman and the Arabian Sea, are relatively confined and strategically crowded waterways. Any single incident, whether it stems from a technical malfunction aboard a vessel, a critical misunderstanding in communication between opposing forces, or a deliberate provocation by any party, could rapidly spiral out of control, potentially leading to wider conflict. The very presence of such formidable warships introduces a more volatile and unpredictable element into an already complex and often unstable regional security environment, demanding extremely cautious navigation from all state actors. The implications of these significant naval deployments extend far beyond the immediate U.S.-Iran dynamic, creating ripples across the international system. They profoundly affect America's network of allies within the Middle East. Nations like Israel and the member states of the Gulf Cooperation Council generally view a strong and visible U.S. military presence as a vital bulwark against perceived Iranian influence and a fundamental source of security reassurance. However, this same protective presence can also carry the inherent risk of embroiling these allied nations in wider regional conflagrations, should hostilities erupt. Furthermore, other major global powers, most notably China and Russia, observe these developments with keen strategic interest and concern. Their own substantial strategic and economic stakes in the Middle East are significant, and U.S. military posturing invariably influences their geopolitical calculations and regional policies, potentially fueling broader great power competition in this critical area. The current complex situation, characterized by robust U.S. military deployments running in parallel with ongoing sensitive diplomatic negotiations, reflects a long-standing and recognizable pattern in international affairs. Periods of intense diplomacy with adversaries are frequently accompanied by clear military signaling from one or both sides. This dual approach is often intended to create leverage at the negotiating table, demonstrate unwavering resolve to domestic and international audiences, and meticulously prepare for various contingencies should talks fail. The Arleigh Burke destroyers, with their versatile combat capabilities and global reach, are perfectly suited for this demanding role in statecraft. A significant breakthrough in the nuclear talks could potentially lead to a welcome de-escalation of military presence. Conversely, the unfortunate failure of diplomacy could see these powerful warships transition swiftly from a signaling role to one of active engagement, highlighting the precarious balance. The future trajectory of regional stability in the Middle East remains profoundly uncertain and subject to rapid change. The ultimate outcome of the delicate and high-stakes Iran-US nuclear talks will be a critical determinant of future peace and security. The continued and at times intensified deployment of Arleigh Burke-class destroyers signifies a clear U.S. determination to shape events in this vital region and to protect its declared national interests actively. However, this assertive projection of naval power also carries inherent and unavoidable risks, underscoring the persistent threat of conflict in an area already burdened by historical animosities. The waters near Iran, particularly the strategic choke point of the Strait of Hormuz through which a significant portion of global oil transits, will undoubtedly remain a focal point of international security concerns. The actions, reactions, and strategic choices of all involved nations in the coming months will ultimately chart the course for this volatile but globally vital part of the world.